We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, but really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI, their plot is truly foul. But we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers, y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers, we're really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
All right, everyone, welcome. It is Tuesday, and I want to welcome you to Forbidden Knowledge TV. I'm Roderick Martin, and I am your host on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock for Why the Big Secret. You know, we had a special show with Billy this week, and he needed to go, and so it's going to be about Noah's Ark. So we moved it to April 4th, Tuesday night, so make sure you attend, and he will be there, and you don't want to miss that episode. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about something that a lot of people are really been talking about quite some time, and that's Project Bluebeam. We're going to connect some dots. We're going to make sure that we go into this facts of fiction side. But let me point out first that we're not making no intent to say what it is and what it's not, and this is just a conversation. And what I say tonight is not based upon Forbidden Knowledge TV, but also my opinion and Why the Big Secret, but also we're just talking. We're just going to talk. I'm not saying any of it's fact or fiction, but it'll be up to you to decide by the time the show is over. So as always, we want you to be prepared and give you something special for you to be looking forward to. One of the things I am going to be talking about today is going to be retired FBI investigator John DeSouza. And he has something strong to say, and I'm going to play this a little bit later on into the show so you don't want to miss it. And here's one of his words.
This is going to be a real situation with real solid UFO-like craft attacking American citizens and our buildings and our cities. That's what we're going to be facing, and it's going to be real.
So get ready. We're going to be talking with him a little bit tonight. Not live. I'm just going to use some of his video clips, I meant to say. But it's going to tie into our story, especially as we go down the rabbit hole of Project Bluebeam. So with that being said, let me do the norm, and that is Truth Seekers. It is Tuesday night. Yes, I want to welcome you to Forbidden Knowledge TV. I'm your host, Roderick Martin, as I said before, and I like to give you a good message, and that is you could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, I bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the 24 time zones that this show aired. Now, I had big promise, and that's to be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, creating captivating conversations that'll certainly cause controversy. I'm located in that jumbo state. This is where those UFOs come out to play. It's a Texas thing, y'all. And as I always tell you, it is time to put the children and any non-believers to bed, because what we talk about is not PG. And I don't want responsible for no dreams. Mommy, daddy, I was talking about, I saw UFOs, they're coming, or we're gonna be, that's not what I'm doing here. So it's your responsibility to tell them to get away from this tonight, because this is how we roll. Well, anyway, I'm excited, and I'm gonna shut this down here so we can get right into the show. But I just hope you're ready. Again, we're gonna talk about some things today, and let's get it ready and get down to our conversation. Now, we're gonna be talking about Project Bluebeam, right? And there's always a lot of stories behind it, so I'll read you the backstories of Project Bluebeam. Tongue twister there. And you could be able to do that. But either way, for now on, in a little bit, I'll be paying attention in the chat, saying hello to some of you as well. If you find value in what I'm talking about tonight and you want to support the channel, most of the money or some of it goes to charity, as you know here. So definitely feel free to support the channel through Super Chat and be most appreciative. And we will call you out and give you the accolades of today. Now, the background real quickly of Project Blue Book really is a conspiracy theory, okay? I'm just saying that out front so that you're not saying this is what Roderick is saying. I'm just telling you, I'm just saying that it's a conspiracy theory, and it's just out there. But there have been some good ones, and this was a good one, okay? But it alleges that NASA, okay, the United States government together, and other organizations are planning to carry out a massive deception on a global population. All right. And they're supposed to use advanced technology, people, to create a fake, invasion from the people up above. All right. Or a second coming of Christ in order to establish a new world order. Boom. Yeah, I know that's like one of those things. But, it's not this first time we never heard these stories. Right. And so, but anyway, it's often associated with other conspiracy theories, such as the Illuminati, yeah, okay, we all heard about them, and the New World Order. All right, so I'm going to go through a few key points. I'm going to set the stage. It's going to be a short show tonight, so we're going to get right to it. Not going to, you're going to have time to go out and do what you do on a Tuesday night, if you do what you do on a Tuesday night. If you do anything other than what you haven't been doing on a Tuesday night, you can go do it this Tuesday night. All right, so, but where I'm going with this is, I know I'm funny. I really am. I try to be. All right. So listen, I'm going to go over a few key points. Okay. And I want you to follow along with me. All right. We're going to go over a few points, and then we'll get into the details of the show. And then we're going to come back again with FBI investigator John DeSouza. I got a bunch of clips that we're going to show midway through the show about this dude and how he worked for the government. He's going to give some inside tips of what is really happening and what we should be careful. Anyway, just be ready for that. You don't want to miss that. Be around for that. All right. So anyway, the alleged purpose, this is one of the key points, that alleged purpose of Project Blue Book, okay, all right, get ready for this, is to create a one world government and religion. That's the reason why you probably saw the thumbnail and I had the picture of Jesus Christ sitting there, right? Because they were talking about a one world religion. Now, I don't know which one would go. I don't know which one, but based on the belief of a common enemy and a common savior, wow, in order to control and manipulate the world's population. That is crazy. That's my opinion. Once again, I definitely intentionally put in the thumbnail because I wanted to give the association of aliens and religion. And of course, all right, you saw the picture. All right, so at this point, I don't know. I don't know how they will pull it off, but we'll get into some details because a former FBI investigator, he has a way that he feels that he's going to pull it off, and he's going to talk about that in a minute. Now, the next one is that the technology supposedly used in Project Bluebeam includes advanced holographic and audio technology, as well as mind control and electromagnetic manipulation. Man, that I could stop now. I can stop the show and we can just go home, because if they're going to be trying to pull all this off, you're talking about, holographic. We already heard about that, right? We heard about they wanted to do some of these things in the sky. So that's not been new. But the fact that they want to use audio technology, and I will get into how that is going to be used, by the way, but as well as mind control, controlling your mind. We got enough of that already, right? And electromagnetic manipulation. That is weird as it could be, all right? That's cool. All right, so the next one is some proponents of the conspiracy theory claim that 9/11, you remember that, right? Attacks was a precursor to Project Bluebeam as a way to create fear, justify the increase in military and government control. If that's the case, they got a long game going on. I mean, they definitely got a long game going on, right? Because 9/11 happened a long time ago, long time ago. It's still, we remember it though, right? And all right, so another part of this is another alleged precursor was the Gulf War. And during this, in which they claimed the United States military tested some of the technology that would be used in Project Bluebeam deception. Now, if you know, Gulf War was way back then. Some of you probably weren't even born at that point. Yeah, I know. Some of you don't even know. So Google Gulf War, if it's the one that I'm thinking about, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. That was in 1988, because that's when I went to work for the government. I had a top secret clearance building missiles, because they need a lot of young people at that time. Anyway, that's another story. That's another one of my backstories, and pretty much. And if you don't know, any of my stories, I would just tell you real quickly in 30 seconds or less. You can find me on several TV shows. One will be on Gaia, Open Mind with Regina Meredith. Great show, by the way. George Norrie, I was featured on his show, Beyond Belief. I also hosted a TV show called Alien Endgame. That's streaming on the Discovery Plus channel. Fox Tubi, I'm in a show, Alien Abductions, UFOs. Also, Ancient Aliens, and of course, Forbidden Knowledge, Black Knight Satellite, and beyond. You definitely want to check that out. And then there's a new show that I'm in on Amazon right now called I Want to Believe 2. So I'm in several TV shows there, and pretty much so let you know, this is why I'm in front of you, for those who want to know. But anyway, listen. There's a couple of more. I got about 3 or 4 more key points, okay? And we'll go over those, and then we're going to get deep into it. So get ready. And if you want to be a note taker, they always say note takers are money makers, right? Well, we're not trying to make money here, but if you want to just take a note, take a note. But anyway, the falling, not so much the falling, but the second coming of Christ scenario, okay? This is important. It's said to involve the use of holographic technology to create the image of Jesus Christ appearing in the sky. And here's where that sound technology comes in. Okay, check this out. Accompanied by a voice to be claiming the voice of God. Could you imagine driving down the street tomorrow and they decide to pull this off? Jesus Christ is in the sky, and then the voice of God. The problem that I have, and again, this is my opinion only, and not associated with the channel itself, is what I'm saying is this. Why would they use Jesus? I'm not saying, okay, I grew up Christian, I get it. But out of all the different religions out there, what couldn't they choose a universal figure? And I don't know who that would be. Put it in the chat. What universal figure could represent? I wouldn't say the Pope. I'm not going there. But what universal picture or image to support religion would be that? And I know, and Nicole says, how do they know what God and Jesus sound like? I'm on board with you, and again, thank Nicole. Nicole is one of our researchers behind the scenes, so give her a shout out. Of course, Lonnie is in here as the show producer, and then there's Tish is here as well. We have that. So, but anyway, listen, let me get back on point. Now, some of the proponents of the conspiracy theory believe that this last pandemic was part of implications, of Project Blue Beam. Either way, it was to create condition of deception, all right, as a way to distract people from what was happening. Now, I can't say it did because I don't even know what was happening that the pandemic would have done that. So, but anyway, create a distraction. Now, a distraction. Another part is the origins of Project Blue Beam conspiracy can be traced back to a book. And I get this all the time. I haven't read it yet. I got it in on my desk. Behold A Pale Horse by William Cooper, which was published in 1991. So that was definitely, part of the thing there too. All right. Now I'm gonna get down to this. The fake invasion scenario is said to involve a project, like I said before, holographic images of spaceships, extraterrestrial beings, as well as simulated sounds, other sensory effects in order to create the impression of the invasion from outer space. Now stick around. Make sure you stick around because I'm going to show you some video clips from former FBI investigator, and he's gone rogue. Okay, he's gone rogue, and he's now telling and spilling the beans. And he says something serious that we need to really probably think and worry about. And we're going to get into more details of what he's saying. But once again, this is part of it.
This is going to be a real situation with real solid UFO-like craft attacking American citizens and our buildings and our cities. That's what we're going to be facing, and it's going to be real.
Now, I got a lot more from this guy coming up. A lot. That is just a tidbit to get you to say, well, wait a minute, what is he talking about? And this guy is a former FBI investigator gone rogue. And why would he get out there and say some things? So whatever he says is what he says. I'm just going to play a lot of it for you later on in the show. So make sure you stick around. And like I said, it is going to be epic. I'm serious. Some of the stuff he's talking about. But let me close things out before we get into the show itself, more detail. But there's no evidence to support the claims made by Project Blue Beam conspiracy theory, supposedly, right? And it's widely regarded as a baseless, unfounded conspiracy theory by mainstream scientists, scholars, and media outlets. Okay, so that's what they're saying. There's one side saying that this is made up stuff, okay? On the other side, people are saying, no, it's not happening. In the middle, we've had a lot of stuff that doesn't happen in the last few weeks that will probably give us some indications that somebody's up to something. Somebody is up to something. And so we're going to put that out right here. All right. Thank you for the super chat. They would choose Jesus because he's white, and who else would they have us worshiping? All right, that's a great point. And that goes back to my question. Like I said, I don't see a lot of you unless you super chat, but what other religion or what other image could they use to put together a global conspiracy? Hear me now, that we will say, okay, that's him. And then like Nicole said earlier, what voice would they use? What voice could they use to pick that up? And like I said, I don't know. We would probably want to find that out, but hopefully it's something that, they wouldn't pop up and be like,
I'm Jesus Christ. Do you guys know who I am? I hope they wouldn't
pull that off, right? So that's not going to happen. So let's go with that. All right. So here's the deal. Those are the points. I'm gonna sit that down to the side there because we'll get back into some of those in just a minute. Some people say we all are gods, and so we have all the different religions, but they will definitely have to go big and deep to pull that one off where they're going to consolidate religion. Now they can do a good job of bringing world order. Ronald Reagan talked about that. You remember he talked about that a long time ago. They will take some type of foreign type of or from out of this world that will bring all us into one. Now that's been said, that's been done. But according to John DeSouza, who we're going to be playing in a little bit, he said this stuff is multi-generational. It goes back long time. Stick around. You got to hear his stuff. So let's get into some of the things that I'm going to pull off for you that we could go into to kind of see what's going on. And first of all, my question would be for the audience, for those of you, how many of you believe that Project Bluebeam is truly in effect today? And give me a 1 in the chat, and then a 2 if you say no, we don't know. And 3 is okay. 2 no, and 3 you're just waiting on the information, right? You're just gonna wait around and see. But give me a 1 if you're saying and you know or think or got evidence that Project Bluebeam is in truly effect. All right, so we got some 1s popping up right now. We got 1s popping up right now. There we go. All right. So we got a good old consensus. Okay, there's that 3. There's a 3. And somebody else like that. All right. So here's the deal. While y'all doing that and popping that up, make sure that we definitely get into a few things from here. So, Project Bluebeam, let me get back to the point here for you. The conspiracy theory suggests that a secret global elite plans to implement a new world order. I think that's worth that you get what I'm saying. They're saying, let me read this again. Let me make sure I can see what I'm talking about here. They're saying that Project Bluebeam conspiracy theory suggests that there's a secret global elite that plans to implement a new world order by creating a series of carefully orchestrated stages using advanced holographic technology.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
Yes, advanced holographic technology. Yes, that's what they're saying. So I'm a little more concerned with that. So there's going to be 4 phases or 4 stages that is supposedly going to go down. And I'm going to go through all 4 of them with you with a few details. And like I say, these are my opinion and my opinion only, thoughts from the researchers, myself, our team. What do we do? But again, it's up to you to listen, to decide what you want to make fact or fiction. That's the headline. Just want to say it because I don't want to be looking all back in the chats later on and going through all of those things. All right, so here's the deal. There are 4 stages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's 1 more after 3. In case some of you, it's Tuesday. Anyway, Roderick, stop. So the whole point is this: we're going to break down. They're supposed to break down global religious beliefs. Now that is, I don't know. I mean, wars have been fought over religion. We know that, right? Wars have been fought over religion. And to get a global breakdown in religion probably would end up with some crazy stuff. So I have no inclination of how they could try to break down the religious institution. This thing is huge. It's huge. It's huge. All right. And they're also going to do this by discredit the major religions of the world. So they're going to probably say, okay, I'm just throwing some out of the hat. Cuckoo religion. See, that way I ain't calling nobody's religion out. Cuckoo religion is crazy. That's what they're going to say. Cuckoo religion. Who wants to believe in cuckoo religion? And y'all need to stop believing in cuckoo religion, right? And that's one of the things that's what they're going to be saying. But let me ask you something. Could anybody tell you something right today that would change your mind about your religion? Think about it. Ask yourself right now. Do you have some doubt about the story? Do you have some doubt about whatever religions that you believe in, that there could be a crack in there where somebody can come in and say something that will ultimately get you tomorrow to change religion? All right, we saw the movie Sunshine, and back in the day, well, not Sunshine, but Eddie Murphy's movie, and that's whatever, So Good, Make a Man, whatever. That could make the man change the religions. But what I'm saying is, could someone come in your house tomorrow, sit in your freaking living room, and sit here and talk about your religion, open some books, give you some truths, and all of a sudden get you to change or say, wait a minute, I'm done with this? It's been done before. Billy Carson talked about it before, of how our people, how we were beaten into submission for religion. So I can say it happens. We know it happens because they whip that whip out and hang a few people, and the rest of them said, don't do me. No, I'll believe in that God, right? All right, so I guess it could happen. All right, so another part, let me get back on track here. Another part is spread atheism and secularism. And this is probably one of the methods they could use, and we can probably see that across the board, right? And once again, make sure you hit the like button. We got a lot of people in here, almost 1,000 folks, and we got a few hundred likes. If you find any value, please go ahead and smash that button right now. It ain't going to take but a second for you to do that. We should go up 400 or 500 people, if you're finding value, because it doesn't cost you anything to like the video. All right, so another part, and don't forget, like I said, coming up, if you just joined us, we're talking about Project Bluebeam. We're talking about the separating facts and fiction. But we do have some kind of a cliffhanger that we're going to get into, which is former FBI investigator John DeSouza. This guy is from the inside, and he is seriously saying some stuff out there. And if you hadn't heard it already, I'm just going to keep bringing it in, because I need to put this into y'all, because what you're going to hear later is going to blow you.
This is going to be a real situation with real solid UFO-like craft attacking American citizens and our buildings and our cities. That's what we're going to be facing, and it's going to be real.
Now, some people will say something to the fact of,
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
but that may not be. That may not be. Some people could get to a point where it could be a true thing. All right. And so, like I said, we're just going to talk about it a little more detail. I got a lot more for you. And we're going to get into some stuff. And so you don't want to miss what is happening in here. Now, another part real quickly on stage 4, we on the first one, is they're going to use archaeologists and scientific discoveries to undermine religious doctrine. Now, I don't know how that would go, but basically they may just say, okay, we found some other kind of document or some kind of other remnants that all of a sudden this doesn't mean that doesn't mean this. And they could do that. But like I said, with enough planning, they can pull it off. Another part, create confusion and chaos by promoting conflicting religious beliefs. See, I said that while ago. I was alluding to that, right? Because they got to pit religion against each other. More wars have been fought over religion. More people have lost their lives over religion in the past than what we know. And so why not use the ultimate weapon that they could use? Because let me tell you something. I know people who are married and begin to separate because of religion in the house. And they could be madly in love, got each other's back, a bird jump out, they protect each other and fight. But because of religion, they'll split up. I know it. I do know it. Some of you know what I'm talking about too. All right, so let's get on down to stage 2, another stage real quickly. And like I said, you don't want to miss what's coming up with this guy, man. I'm kind of like, man, I really don't want to put that on everybody out there, but some of you can handle it. Y'all can handle the truth, right? Or what his truth. You'll be able to handle that. All right. So the great holographic show is something they're going to be pulling off. Now, they're supposed to build realistic, large-scale sky projections in advanced holographic technology. That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of people that it's going to take to come together. And this is why I talk about all the time. And when you get people, oh, we're getting disclosure, they're going to tell. Man, we're in a million years, we're not going to hear all of disclosure. They're not telling us nothing. Yeah, whatever we can come up to knock on the door so we know what's in here. So the people that it's going to take together, and here's the point: we're talking about transnational companies. We're not talking about our government. So guys, don't just think, or ladies, and say, well, it's the United States government. No, we're talking about transnational companies that have their hands in all over the world that can pull something off like that. All right. They're going to simulate the second coming, like I said first, of religious figures like Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and the appearance of extraterrestrial beings. So they're going to pull out the stops. They're going to pull out the stops and have everybody involved. Okay. So that right there tells you enough that they're not going to play with this thing if whoever decides that this is what they're going to do. Another part is make people believe that the world has experienced divine intervention or otherworldly contact using these projections. The plan is there. They're going to create a global sense of unity by eroding existing religious belief. So looks like the whole plan, not all of it, but they're going to do a lot targeting religion. Why is that though? Why would they put so much emphasis? And like I said, listen to me, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. It's time to think why. See, what they're doing that people are paying attention to, guys, don't listen to me. Listen to me. What they're doing, don't pay attention to that. How they're doing it, don't pay attention to none of that, please. There is nothing out there. I'm telling you right now, you can take this to the bank. There's nothing out there more important as the why. Why? Why is the most important factor in any situation, and you better believe it. And this is why the big secret exists, because we want to know why. We want to know why. All right, so here's the deal. The electronic, telepathic, and mind control. Now, we heard of stories in MK Ultra. Let's put that to the side. These guys are off the charts now. That was just the beginning. That was just trying to figure out if you can smoke a few things, right? This is bigger than that now. We're talking about them going to transmit, oh my God. They're going to transmit messages directly to people's mind using advanced communication technology, extremely low frequencies, very low frequencies, and low frequency waves. Like, man, isn't that cool? Isn't that? You can't do nothing about that. I don't care what tinfoil hat. All right. Maybe we can come up with a product. Like, yeah, somebody hook me up. Call me. We'll come up with a hat with a built-in something. We can sell it. We can make millions, probably, right? All right, somebody just stole my idea. Remember, it's my idea. Send me a little check if you make it work, because you can make it work. Listen, they're going to make it look like you're hearing from gods or extraterrestrials. People are doing that now. I mean, you got some people that hear some voices now, but would that validate the crazy, the schizophrenic people? If this starts happening, do we let them all out the asylum? Do we believe some of the stories? Because now all of a sudden we all are hearing voices. I don't know. So once again, what about you? What would you do if you hear some voices and things? I don't know. So once again, this is big stuff. Another part is manipulate people's thoughts, emotions, and belief to make the new world order work. So imagine all of a sudden your loved one just walk up and just slap the crap out of you, pop, and don't even know why they did it. But they could blame it on Project Bluebeam and get away with it, right? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, that was a little sidebar. But what I'm saying is it looks like they're going to be out of freaking control when they're doing what they're doing. And that's one of the good things. I don't know. So here's another part. They're going to suppress dissent and opposition through psychological and emotional control. So anybody who wants to, apparently anybody who says we're going to fight back, we're going to wear those hats that I'm just talking about, going to be in big trouble. So you might want to put that hat down and not do that. Ugh. Okay. All right. Now, according to DARPA, there was a whistleblower named Dr. Paul Bacho, or whatever, if I pronounced it right. And here's the deal. I just want to put this disclaimer out here right now. If I misspell something in one day and put some on the screen misspelled, I want you to visualize a virtual letterbox. And in that box is A to Z, unlimited letters for you. You can take out a letter and you can correct my spelling. Over there is a virtual grammar dictation box. If I mess up on a word and you like for it to sound a certain way for you or proper or whatever you come up with, you have full authority to go into the grammar box and get out the pronunciation that works for you. All right. That's just my disclaimer. No problem. But anyway, this means that they're saying, I'm not saying this, oh God, I'm not saying this, cell towers. Cell towers could be weaponized to be bioelectric resonant frequencies that can be hijacked the brain's thought center. Man, cortex, visual cortex, motor control, all of that stuff. Man, that is, man, that's some stuff. That's some crazy stuff. By tapping into the brain's thought center, cell towers can remotely control a person's thought, memory, emotions, and behavior. It's kind of funny. You remember the movie? I forget the name of it. Kingsman, right? Samuel L. Jackson played in the movie, and their whole thought was put these chips and give everybody free phone service first so that everybody can get his new phone service, his new cell tower. But there was chips put in the phone that made people go crazy. Y'all remember that? And let me tell you something. These movies, they don't just make this stuff up. Ain't nobody that darn creative, right? They hear these things, and then Hollywood produce movies. And it's also a part of them saying, this is what we're going to do. You know, they'll be like, you know, the government or whoever, the big secret keepers can come back and say, well, y'all just saw that on a movie. Yeah, it's not real. But that's how they do things. You want to know that, okay? All right, so let's move into or what some people call television. That would be Dr. Be Serious. You know, he'd be like, television. All right, so television, right? Okay, it's a play on words. The implication of one world government and religion using television would be establish a central global government and complete political, economic, and military control. They already got that right now. I don't know what's new about that, but it's already there, okay? And once again, hit the like button if you don't mind. It's for a big reason. It helps the algorithm for the channel. Also introduce a universal belief that overthrows traditional religious belief. Wow. Unless humanity under a single spiritual doctrine. All right. So they're saying they will unite humanity under a religious single spiritual doctrine. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right, let me stop saying it's crazy because really they could be already putting this in place. They're also going to eliminate any remaining resistance of opposition and consolidate power. So that means we're going to have some new underground thing. All of us truth seekers, right? We're going to be together. We're going to be like the opposition and blah, blah, blah. And you know, we're going to choose a leader because I'm going to be the person like charging, but we're going to have a leader because the one that they're going to like chop his head off. And then the rest of everybody go like, no, Roderick, we ain't following. Yeah, I know. That's how everybody will bail out. That's crazy. Okay, so the last part would be they're going to bring the masses under control of the elite by show global power under a new world order. That's kind of one of those things. What I'm going to do now is get ready to get into bringing up some stuff about retired FBI investigator Joe DeSouza. I kind of played some little stuff, but in the meantime, we're going to talk about real quickly the Conscious Awards. Definitely want you all to attend. This is Billy and Elizabeth's vision to not only give people their flowers, give people within this community, because we have nothing like that. We really don't. And so definitely it's going to be in Miami. It's going to be epic. Okay. It's going to be epic. We definitely want you to show and pretty much do that. Okay. All right. So, all right. Lavelle says, stay on track, bro. You just off track. Dude, this is my show. This is what I do. And I'm going to play you a video about the Conscious Award and everything else, but just hang around. You're going to be okay. I got you covered, Lavelle. I got you covered. I understand. This is some good stuff. It's some good stuff. I know it's some good stuff. And I get you, brother. I get you. All right. So anyway, let's put this to going and check this out.
Hey everybody, it's Billy Carson, also known as Forbidden Knowledge. I want to talk to you about a very special event coming up July 30th, 2023. The Forbidden Conscious Awards, the first annual event of its type. We're going to honor people who have been contributing to the conscious community for decades. People that you know and love that have helped you get to higher levels of thought and consciousness and awareness. And guess what? It's time to give them their flowers while they're still alive. It's going to be a live in-person event, but seats are going to sell out very fast. You want to make sure you're there in person for this amazing level event. It's going to be above the Oscars, above the Grammys. And guess what? You can help vote for the winners. Voting is available on forbiddenknowledge.com. And the categories are going to be social media influencer, podcast/radio host, TV host, actor, director, producer, entrepreneurs, health and wellness, philanthropists, authors, field researchers, archaeologists, space anomaly hunters, and of course, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And you want to be there in person because I'm going to be speaking. That's right, I'll be your keynote speaker that night at the Forbidden Conscious Awards. If you want to come to a mini conference, this is the place to be because I'm going to give you the knowledge that night as well as performances. We have celebrity guests performing. We'll have a halftime show where we're actually going to perform music for you. And don't forget about the pre-event mixer, where if you buy a box seat, you'll be in the VIP section, and you also have private access to a VIP mixer with celebrity guests. Shake hands, break bread, network, and then walk the red carpet with us and take amazing photos. It's going to be a night to remember. You don't want to forget this. And you help vote by going to forbiddenknowledge.com. Go to the Conscious Awards link. You can text in a vote for who you want for any category, as well as if you're out of the country, you can use the web form ballot to still vote for anyone you think is worthy of being honored that night. Make sure you hurry up and get your tickets because they're selling out very fast. I want to see you there. Forbidden Conscious Awards 2023.
Well, we definitely want to see everyone there and make sure that you show up. Matter of fact, I'm already been voted on the podcast and radio host, and I would love to really, truly get your vote. You can go to voteforroderick.com. That's www, or there should be a link coming up in the chat. And please simply go to the website if you need to. Look for where you can vote. Put in where it says podcast. Put my name in the podcast radio host category. And it'll be exciting, again, to not only represent you, the True Seekers community, Why the Big Secret, as far as Forbidden Knowledge as well, to be part. And if you don't mind, give me that vote. And if you have voted for me, send me an email. I got some stuff that we're going to be putting together for those of you who have voted for Roderick Martin. And that's at contact@whythebigsecret.com. All right, so here's what we're getting ready to do now. We're going to get into the main part of tonight's story. And that is some video clips from retired FBI investigator John DeSouza, or whatever his name is. Now, this guy is a hardliner. He's been part of the FBI for quite some time, actually taking pictures with some of the ex-presidents. And this guy is an insider. He's gone rogue. That's my thing, and I'm not saying it in a bad way. But because of the Whistleblowers Act is out, he can say whatever he's saying, and he's talking. He's talking. He has a book. I'll show you that just a second here, where if you want to get one of his latest books, and here's the title of it right now, Extra Dimensionals by John DeSouza. Check that book out because it is pretty cool. So without further ado, I think what you should be ready to hear is some of the videos. Let's get down to it. Let me get my notes out here. We're going to talk about show you a plethora. It's about 7 to 8 different clips. They're all going to be grand for you, and I think it's time for you to do that. Financial Food says Roderick for president. Just vote me for the podcast and, radio host. President is like a pretty big thing. And by the way, real quickly, today, I'm just letting you know, I'm putting it on record. I started my nutrition, the weight loss program, everything in full effect at an exercise program as of yesterday. Weighed in at 42. So I'm a pretty big guy, a lot right here. So you're going to watch me slim down. We're going to get a couple of 100 pounds off this year, or 100 plus, whatever, right here every Tuesday. I'm going to give you an update with the picture of the scale, everything. So what is happening with Maria Carson's Billy's sister, a champion weightlifter, nutritionist. We're doing a documentary, and I am her subject this season to sculpt, to get all that swag right there in front of you. But if you want to join the trip and get part of some of the stuff we're doing, I'll get her email address pretty soon. But in the meantime, you can contact at whythebigsecret.com, and I'll forward you her information. Man, the girl is good at what she does. All right, so here's the go. Without further ado, let's get down into one of many of his video clips. One in particular that John talks about is that he gets into really describing what he thinks UAPs are, not UFOs, UAPs. And so you can follow along with several clips of what he talks about. Like I said, some great stuff. And we're going to get into it from there. And so let's really get this thing going. Yeah. All right. So just like my show producer says, come on, give us a few likes, at least a few hundred more. Come on, you guys can do that. All right. So here's the deal. I'm afraid to play the first clip where he has his description of what he talks about with UAPs. Pay close attention. You don't want to miss it.
Let me tell you about the other great buzzword of fakery that's going around right now. It is the term. It is a term that is used instead of UFO. It is now the term UAP. As soon as you hear this term, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, there is an operation going down, okay? It is fakery. It is false. These things are man-made. UAP.
All right, so as you hear, he's talking about Project Blue Beam, separating the facts, and he doesn't use Blue Beam specifically, but he's talking about there's going to be some fake things happening in the future. And he's heard, he has evidence, he's talked to the people, he got it. And I got more video clips for you. This is going to be a wonderful conversation. So the next part of this, where he was talking about the proof about UAPs. Now, remember what he just said. There is a distinction, okay, a distinction between UFO and UAP. Now, remember that we did a show, we was talking about when they had all these balloons and then the China balloon, and then all of a sudden these things was in the sky. But if you pay close attention, I kept playing a clip where one of the press agents was asking the press secretary or whoever the guy was there about who owned these things, okay? Who owned them? And he smirked. Y'all remember that. If you didn't go back and look at some of the older videos, it's going to tie this in for you, which is very significant in the story and what you're going to hear later on in the clips here in a few moments. So the whole point is he is coming out saying that the UAPs that we've been seeing for years, have nothing to do with aliens. Nothing to do with them. Now, I'm a UFO investigator. I'm a UFO investigator for the MUFON Network. Mutual UFO Network. This is what I do. I get case files. I work on them weekly, and it's weekly with 2 E's for you scholars, not WEAK. So I work on them weekly. So I'm not saying I fall in line with what he's saying partially. But anyway, let's play another clip and let's get down to it.
UAPs are man-made. Absolutely they are. And I know that because there was a member of the Dark Pentagon the other day that actually made an announcement that that basically just said, we don't know what these things are, but we know they're not man-made. They're not man-made. Well, this guy was from the disinformation and top secret weapons area of the Pentagon. Okay, and that's basically what he said. They're right off the bat. That tells me these things are actually man-made. And we actually have a congressman named Tim. I don't have. He's actually a pretty good guy. He was he's been on a lot of channels. This congressman has been running around to the different subcommittees. Apparently, there are a number of subcommittees going on in the Congress and even in the Senate that are trying to get in on this UAP gravy train, all right? Apparently, anybody gets involved in this UAP nonsense, they get all kinds of resources, all right? All kinds of resources come to them magically out of nowhere. And
see, listen, what he's talking about is follow the money. Follow the freaking money. See, I've been saying this for 3 years. And if you ever heard, I came up with the hashtag UFO taxes. And hold on, let me make sure you guys are getting me okay. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's see. All right, so let me make sure that we are reconnected. Let me know in the chat. Lonnie, send me a text to make sure you can see me. My internet went down here a little bit. So if you can, Lonnie, are we frozen still? Let's see here. Okay, so we're good. All right. All right. So at this point, one of the things is, let me make sure. One of the things that you got to remember, I talked about this a long time ago, right? I kept talking about what needs to be happening and, you know, who's all in the game, you know, of when it comes down to these UFOs or comes down to all of this. And I talked about UFO taxes. Remember, I was doing a UFO taxes hashtag. It was very important there. All right, so my end seems to be like it's frozen over here, but everybody else says it's okay. That's fine. All right, so if we good, we good. All right, so but anyway, UFO taxes, and that is very important because you got to know where the money goes. You got to know where the freaking money goes, because if you don't, then that's it. So the main thing is follow the freaking money. And those is what I've told people all the time, follow the money. Now that it is mainstream now that people are pretty much, what's the word I'm looking for? Everybody's involved. That's the moment when it's time to come clean and talk to other people. And pretty much. All right. So what is going on with my Wi-Fi on my end? I don't know, but I'm just trying to make sure you guys are okay, because I am not seeing the chats that I need to be seeing. All right. So it looks like everything is good. I'm sorry. I'm just having difficulties on my side, but looks like you all are doing good there. Okay, we're good. Keep going. All right. Okay, that's cool. It was just my computer then. So anyway, I'm sorry. Let me keep going. No interruptions there. On my end, I have another monitor over there that's monitoring other stuff, and that one was acting up. So, all right. So anyway, we're talking about UFO taxes. That's my hashtag. Let's put it out there, because if we get people to understand where the money goes, it's going to be going. But John talks about the cabal. Have you heard of that before? The words or any of that stuff. So I know, right? Channel gets glitchy when you expose agendas. I know. I'm with you, Giovanni. So the whole point is, he talks about the cabal. So let me play another clip for you of what he's saying, and then we'll discuss that right now. Check this out.
Are being seen in different shapes and sizes all over our country, all over the country. They're being seen. But now there's a new addition, because the cabal has to ratchet up the fear. So now what they're doing is they're having these things actually interfere with airliners, military jets, helicopters. They're having them actually interfere and threaten these vehicles and make them scared, and do these official events that are called they're called like interference or something. Like whenever an aircraft comes within 1,000 feet of another aircraft in progress, it's an official threatening incident that is recorded by the FAA and has to be reported by everybody involved.
Now, okay, so you hear what he's saying. He's saying that there is potentially what is happening, or what has been happening, is that these UAPs are out there floating around commercial aircrafts, regular aircraft. Now, we've been knowing this for quite some time. The FAA had now just, with this Whistleblowers Act, is allowing pilots and all of them to come forward, because they've been seeing these things for quite some time. Go and Google. There was I think we did it on, you go to Why the Big Secret, and then you're going to listen to one of my shows. We played the FAA tape that there was a couple of airlines that were reporting a UAP. Both, they was calling in on each other, and that tape got released by John Greenwald. So you want to listen to that. And it happens every day. Now, I tell people all the time, people that, Roderick, we want disclosure, and that's part of our truth seeker song, right? We want disclosure, but here's the deal. Do you really want disclosure? So imagine you're getting ready to take a family vacation, and I know how many of you have been on a plane and felt the turbulence, right? And it drops, and the seatbelt light sound comes on and tell you to put your seatbelt on, and nobody gets up for the bathroom because wind shears or wind or whatever it's doing. But imagine you get off the plane because you're so adamant about disclosure that they give you a piece of paper and it says, here of what just happened. By the way, while you were up there, a UAP came by, turned off the instrument panels a little bit. The pilot gained control of the plane. It didn't go down. But that's disclosure. You want that information. You want that, right? I don't think people can handle that. I don't think that's what you're looking for. And what he's saying is already happening. That is something we don't need to be playing with, right? I do not think people need to be playing with that. All right, so here's the deal. Remember back when the balloons came up. So what you're about to hear now, he's going to say a few weeks ago, is really about a month or so ago. When the balloons, and then China, remember we had all the different UAPs. Then we didn't know what they were. Then Putin, remember, if you heard behind the mainstreams that Russia shot down one of those things, which I had already included that they was, American made. It had to be. Our government didn't even know what it was. So anyway, and they didn't want to call it a UFO. But check this out. In this video, in this clip that I'm about to play, he goes into a little detail about this. Anyway, let me let him speak for it. And it's about 1 minute and 45 seconds, but listen to it closely, everyone. Make sure you do. All right, let's go.
This just happened like 2 weeks ago. We just had another development in the UAP scam that's going on. And it's this. Putin just shot down one of these Tic Tacs in Russia. He just shut it down. He shot it down and collected it. Okay? So there's a couple of things from that. Number one, it's not a UFO. Okay? Real UFOs that are extra dimensional in nature have the ability to dematerialize. They cannot be shot down, okay? They're not physical. I mean, they're not fully physical. They can't be shot down. And if you want proof of this, just go back to the Battle of Los Angeles. The Battle of Los Angeles, which occurred in like 1938 or something like that, when the whole Los Angeles area was militarized with anti-aircraft munitions all over it because they were worried about Japanese Zeros coming into the California coast. Okay, so what happened? They had the two pretty large UFOs show up over there, and all the munitions went. All the anti-aircraft was shot up into the air at them. And they also had photographs that were going constantly as well. And so all these munitions were shot up into the air, and most of the munitions passed through these vehicles, passed through these craft, because they were extra dimensional. They were not solid if they didn't want to be solid. And
now this guy makes a great point, by the way. As a UFO investigator, we always talk about the government plane called a TR-3B. And it looks like a triangle, but it's also been said that where it's got this centerpiece that most people describe this light, or they can see, is translucent or transparent. Now, I get it all the time. People talk about UFOs that they've seen, that recently somebody was telling me a story they looked up and you can see right through it. So it was so that's where he's coming through about this multidimensional, meaning these things are at a point to where if something was shooting at it, because it's traveling at a high vibration, probably is what he's saying, I'm thinking, and correct me or correct yourself, that us shooting at it. Now, we said this before. Billy talked about it. I talked about it. We don't have nothing to be shooting these things down. So when you hear Putin shot something down or somebody shot one down, it has to have been probably a man-made item, because once again, there's 5 observables when it comes to UFOs. And believe me, once again, I can tell you what I'm about to tell you is what part of the truth. And it is. And one of the things is that these things have what they call instantaneously acceleration, meaning they can go from here to there like that. Okay. They go to 3,500 miles an hour, 20 times faster speed of sound. They can go transmedium, meaning they can come out of space, air, and water, come back out. We have nothing on the planet as of today that we know of, except some of these things that they're putting out there that can come from the water. You don't see a jet that's going to come out of the water and is going to lose its propulsion. So he explains some of these things, and we get this report all the time. So for those of you who's in the chat, like, okay, UFOs, yeah, we're talking about 2 different things. I said this from day one. UFOs are unidentified flying objects. They just changed the UAPs, the unidentified aerial phenomena, to kind of throw everybody off. But a true UFO with an alien or alien technology, nah, it's not going down. All right. Sounds like the movie Kingsman. Yep, Judith. Yep. Thank you for the super chat. And appreciate it, and make sure y'all hit that like button. So anyway, we got a few more before we get out of here. But what I'm saying to you is, if it's true, then we've seen some of the things that he's already pointed out that's been happening this last few weeks. Another precursor is what the word that some of them are talking about. But I don't know. It's cool. So let's go back to another one of this video. So in this particular clip, he starts explaining what I said earlier about being a transnational company. Because, see, most people think our government is involved. People, no, it's not. Our government, since they put a lot of these things in private contractors' hands, and then most of these contractors have their own crash retrievals, teams. They got satellites just like the government. They pay Elon Musk. I'm not saying him, okay? I'm just using the money and power for association for you. Is that people like him who got money can have their own satellite systems that can pick up something coming in just as much as the military. And whoever get there first, claim it. It ain't our government just because it fell on the ground. If you're a company and you are into space technology and you hear and see something that falls, you run out there and get it, it's yours. that new reverse engineering technology is yours. You are the next billionaire if you can put a weapon on it, right? So this is what is happening when you have these transmedium or transnational companies. They're fighting against the government. Everybody wants the tech. The tech is it. Whoever gets the tech wins. You better believe it. If a third world country gets the tech and they can put a missile on something that moves around that we can't shoot down. And by the way, like I said, we're not shooting down none of those things, all right? So let me play the clip for you. We got a couple more before we get of something else that he was saying when it comes down to these companies.
These Tic Tacs and these things that are, he said he's pretty certain that McDonnell Douglas is involved, Raytheon, and all the big aerospace companies are involved in putting these things together. But you know what he said that's really strange? He said, but I don't believe the U.S. government is actually involved in them. I don't believe Russia is involved in putting these things together at all. I believe there's some kind of transnational actors who are actually putting these stuff together with help from the aerospace companies that you just cited, Rex.
Yeah, you talking these big countries, like he said, are in this deal. And so do you think that it's only our government that's doing this?
Hell no.
No, because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a big cabal. It's a lot of stuff that's just out there. And so you got to understand that this thing is big. It is big. So as we might sit here and blame the big secret keepers, that's what I call them. But at the end of the day, it could be more. So let's get down to the next clip because he's going to get into a little more situations when we talk about these false flags, right? But this guy, once again, if you don't know who I'm talking about or who I'm showing, that's retired FBI investigator John DeSouza, and he's gone rogue, and he can, because put into law a few months ago was the Whistleblowers Act. So meaning anybody who got some kind of company secret, knows something, anything to deal with this phenomena is protected. And if they violate your rights, you can sue and make a big wad of cash. So come forward, people, walk into the light, There's, Caroline did it. Walk into the light. Y'all get that later. Young folks probably not know the movie I'm talking about. But anyway, so let's play the next clip so we can get into what I'm talking about right here. Check this out. Absolutely.
And that's why this operation, this UAP operation, is multi-generational. It's been going on since Roswell, and even before that. And it's now entering its final phases. That's exactly why Putin let everyone know that he shut down one of these things, and he's examining it right now, so that the cabal will say, this jig is almost up. If Putin is able to examine one of these things and see what it really is, and see that there's no alien visitors in there, because these things are top secret weapons. That's basically what they are, being used by the cabal, a transnational actor who is using these things and who's actually gathering them, trying to ratchet up the fear, ratchet up the attacks on the nations, not just the USA. They're doing this in other nations too.
Yep, Fonz Blessed. Yeah, I was talking about Poltergeist. Yep, that was the movie. Walk into the light, Caroline. But anyway, so listen, this thing is big. This is really big. And you got so many people out there who don't want to believe nothing, okay? They just don't want to believe nothing. And I've told people all the time that this thing is big. This is the big secrets. It's the big secret. And once again, it's not about the what. It's not about how they're doing it, what they're doing. It's always why. And I say it again, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. You got to think why, people. You got to go down the word why. All right, so he's going to explain there's a place that this is already happening very frequently. And it's just going down. So let's kind of go with what he says here.
In Japan, you can actually the nightly news carries UAPs just attacking different installations on a regular basis. And it's happening all the time there. And in Japan, they don't try to cover this stuff up. They just report it, and they let the people decide. And so this is going on, and they're trying to gather their forces for what they're ultimately going to be doing, and that's the great fake alien invasion that's going to be against the nations, and that's one of the cabal's final cards when their back is up against the wall, and they've got no other options because all the nukes have been taken away from them. That's what's happening now. The White Hats are taking the nukes away from them, and they are now getting to the point where they're going to have to speed up this alien invasion. Cliff High has said that he sees the full-on alien invasion coming by August of this year, but they're going to have to do a lot of prep before.
All right. So again, that's his opinion. It's not mine. He's talking about August, but they're rolling things out. And the question is why? Again, all right, they want to put together one world order, or they want to put together this one world religion. And what for, I do not know. Okay. And maybe some of you know why would they even think that that's something that people are going to go down with. And I really don't. And I'm the one that kind of really kind of go like this.
I don't know the answer here, kids. I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
That's it. Basically what I would say to you. Outside of seeing some of the facts, okay, believing what they're saying, yeah, and understanding there's some chess moves being made, absolutely. There is some chess move. I'm going to give you his final prediction, and you definitely want to go with this, and then we're going to give you a little more information. But his final prediction is kind of weird, but this is what he says, and he's saying this across the board, and to get along with what his final prediction is, we would have to really think of this situation something like this.
If this was a conspiracy, they'd have to get all those people to lie.
Simply, they have to do that. And so let's get down with his prediction.
So I just wish that people would get it straight from the horse's mouth so they can understand what real alien visitors look like, what real UFOs look like, so that they can tell when they're being attacked by a fake, like the UAPs. That whole thing it's just another Project Mockingbird type of situation. But unfortunately, this is going to be a real situation with real solid UFO-like craft attacking American citizens and our buildings and our cities. That's what we're going to be facing, and it's going to be real.
That's some strong words, people. That is some very strong words for him to really be saying what he's saying. And, we can pose that question for there and let you know, just kind of let you know on next Tuesday night when we're here, Billy Carson and I is going to talk about the Noah's Ark, facts of fiction. And if you saw the last one about Adam and Eve, he was hyped. He was preaching it, baby. And this is more bigger for him. He's going to go in and lay it in, and we're going to talk about that Noah's Ark. But let's get down toward the close of what we're talking about here. Once again, there's no definitive proof of Project Blue Beam. Nobody's really been able to prove it, but there's been a lot of chess pieces that you can kind of put together. We have no solid proof yet that the ETs have visited Earth, right? But they have. I'm going to go with that. Or basically, are they on a malevolent mission? How about that? What we do know is that the existence of the talk of them is already happening. We do know that. And because of this, we'll be having this conversation more and more on down the road, because I want you to kind of know this. A couple of questions that I can kind of throw out you guys' way as we go down this. But I just want to get the opinion of some of you of what we're doing. But in the meantime, let's put it out to this and say that it's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege serving you tonight. As always, Project Bluebeam has been something that's set out there for quite some time that amazed people, memorized people with the stories of what could happen and a possibility. And when we talk about things that could possibly happen, it really stirs the emotions of people all across the world. Sometime in your dreams, sometime in there. So I wanted to put a few things out there, but the guy, the FBI guy, is the real deal. Like I say, he has a book. You can check it out. That's it right there. Read some of his stories. You can check out his website. He has one. Look him up. But in the meantime, I want to say that UFO taxes is going to be the hashtag that we're going to put out together, and we're going to make sure that we do this thing that we do. But like I said, being a UFO investigator is some great times right now. And I encourage each and every one of you to continue to explore the possibilities, the information, all that you can get so that you can come up with your own conclusions about what's happening, because talking about Project Bluebeam puts a chill down even the strongest people's back, and we can do that. With that being said, to my haters, if you're listening tonight, if you can hate me and you don't know me, then like I've said before, I can love you and without ever meeting you. To each and every one of you tonight, make sure you hit the like button, smash the button, vote for Roderick, please, vote, please. I try to work hard to do this. In the meantime, get your tickets to the Conscious Awards. You want to be there. You do not want to miss it. And give a shout out to Lonnie in the chat, Nicole, Tisha, our show producers, researchers, and the team. And I just want to say good night. Kiss your kids, hug everybody, because it's all about love in this damn time. And I love each and every one of you as well. Good night.